And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, spawning in the bottom left position of the map that is Frost. The blue Terran player from Team Acer, it is MMA. He's up against this gentleman in the northwest position, spawning as the red Zerg player from Team Western Wolves. It is Czech. Now, the winner of this best of three will go on to face Squirtle, and the loser will drop down to face off against Scarlet. Of course, the loser does have another chance. Whoever loses the winner's match will face the winner of the loser's match. Always a handful or mouthful to try to put that out. And MMA has chosen an interesting position for his first supply depot. It's hard to move the camera over there, but he's decided to kind of block this area off. This is kind of weird. I don't know that I don't like it. It's very unlikely that there'd be anything like a very fast spawning pool on this map, but the scout is going out for Czech. We should see him go for the 15 supply hatchery, though. It shouldn't be much of a big deal. The Overlord, at the very least, will eventually find MMA, and it looks like he wants to do a very fast command center build. We see the SCVs queued up, so command center first it is from MMA. And I guess if he's planning to put it on the low ground, it doesn't matter if there's no wall, because you can't wall it off anyway. So yeah, there goes the SCV. It will be a command center first on the low ground. And on a 4-player map like this, where it's hard to get scouted, why not? Why not do that? So the hatchery starts, the command center starts. Command center starts now. Okay, there it is. And the drone scouts the northeast position first. Makes sense. Go where the Overlord isn't going. And the Overlord will see this command center. Because MMA built it on the low ground, Czech will find MMA about, I'd say, maybe 15 seconds faster. So now he knows and he can pull back. And MMA actually didn't see the Overlord, so he has no idea that he's been scouted. He does not know where his opponent spawned. And this is just a very nice little touch for Czech at the beginning of the game. He hasn't even started his spawning pool yet, so I think we're going to see a 3-hatch before pool. Yeah, there's Czech's drone coming in out of the third base. So 3 hatcheries it is. And MMA is just doing the standard Terran thing. Command center, into barracks, into gas. It's likely we'll see him put out 2 Marines, then move into that factory play with some Hellions. If MMA mixes it up, I'll be surprised, but I will love it. Terran versus Zerg, something I honestly, I know there was a lot of games played during, a lot of TVZ played at Home Story Cup, but there's so many weird games in that tournament, it's kind of hard to say that it was a good classification of the way the matchup's going in general. Hyun did a lot of Roach Baneling styles. I don't think we'll see Czech play that way, but he moved into the gas, then the spawning pool, so you will have the option to play with a lot of speedlings in the mid game. There'll be great opportunities to go for huge attacks if MMA leaves himself vulnerable. But there's the bunker being started up. Kind of wondering if and where he'll put the second supply depot, but the first Marine is on the way out. So kind of wondering if MMA is going to end up being a tank guy or if he's going to be a Widowmine guy, since the Widowmine damage radius was reduced and the siege tank fire rate was increased. But unlikely to see MMA go for any type of mech play. I don't think there's too much to discuss as far as Czech's build goes. It's likely he's just going to drone up, get speed, and just put out queens at all of these bases and just probably not do much of anything until speed is about to complete. So he still has about another almost 2 minutes until that really becomes a factor. And the reactor is on the way as well. MMA's taking a second gas, though. So this is kind of cool. So MMA's not playing the super standard style. What he can do with this is get either, he actually has a lot of options. He can go for a starport to do something very fast, like Hellion drop. He could even maybe try to go Hellbats. I don't know if he's going to have that quite as fast. But he could also do something along the lines of Hellion Banshee. And with this starport immediately beginning, I do think that that's what we're going to see. The factory is moving. And the barracks, is he going to start the tech lab? Yeah, he has the barracks queued up to build a tech lab. So Hellion Banshee to open up. Not bad, especially versus a Zergling heavy opening that Czech is going for. He doesn't have to actually build Zerglings, but like I said, he's just droning up. He's not doing anything terribly spectacular just yet. Just kind of playing he's playing his game. Now we see Czech. I think he's going to lay the first tumor on the ground. It's important to get the creep spread to that third base, of course. The Hellions and Banshees can isolate any one of the bases. It could make things difficult, and there's the continued Hellion production. Starport will be switching over to this tech lab, and we should see the Banshee start. We might even see Cloak. MMA has the resources. Yep, it will be Cloak So Banshee Hellion is the name of the game. And MMA actually didn't know where Czech was. He has no idea. So now he's going to finally get some scouting information, and he'll see, okay, there's the creep. This must be where Czech is spawned. And he sees, okay, you have your third hatchery done already. So MMA finally gets some scouting off. Of course, this Hellion was sent to check the bottom right base because he wasn't 100% sure where he was. And now the Zergling production begins. Lots of Zerglings for Czech. He's almost saturated on 3 bases. He's half saturation on his 3rd base. But Czech flies this Overlord in, and he sees the starport as well as the factory. So Czech also sees the tech lab on the barracks researching that stim upgrade, so he knows, okay, it is still going to be bio. Nothing really crazy coming at me. But the Hellion Banshee plays something that can keep me a bit honest. There are 6 Hellions on the field with that 1 Banshee. A 2nd Banshee will be produced as well. And what MMA wants to do with the Banshee, of course, is just try to punish any greed. See if you can pick off a few drones here or there. The only Spore Crawler that's being built seems to be the one that's blocking the natural where the Banshee should be coming in from. These Hellions try to get a shot off on the high ground. No luck there. The Queen's doing a great job of kind of zoning these guys out of position. And MMA, the Banshee flies in. The Spore Crawler's there. But no, he's actually just going to go straight into the main base. This is actually really nice. There's no lair yet, so there's no way to detect this Banshee without a Spore Crawler, and this he only has 1. Now he's starting to build additional Spore Crawlers, but will he be able to get many drones? Not just yet, actually. Only 1. It's a shame. If he went straight into the main base, I think he could have definitely grabbed a few drones here, but that Spore is just about to finish. And MMA's actually, ooh, he's got to be careful. He's parked right on top. The lair is just now starting for Czech, so MMA hasn't really done much with this, but the lack of mobile detection means he can kind of poke away on these Queens, and he could try to run the Hellions in at the same time, but there's a lot of Zerglings here to try to prevent that from actually happening. Queens trying to grab that Banshee. No luck. It's pretty nice. MMA hasn't really grabbed a huge lead based on his opener. He's still poking these Hellions from the high ground. Back home, we have additional barracks. He's moving up to 5 barracks. Very, very standard. He's double engineering bay, but he forgot to start +1 armor. This is a bit interesting. MMA could actually fall behind because of this. The only reason it's not a huge deal is because how did both players forget to get their armor/carapace? That's weird. Banshee finally gets picked off, but +1 carapace starts, albeit late for Czech. Well, MMA realized his +1 is late as well. That's a really weird coincidence that both players would forget the same thing. They have enough resources for them. That's the only reason why I'm a little bit flabbergasted here. MMA's starting to press out, though. Looks like he wants to secure this 3rd base. With the Hellions, he can kill a large number of Zerglings, so he doesn't have to worry about too much. Oh, look at this. The armory is starting. Does he realize it yet? I don't think he... No, he doesn't realize it. He has no idea. It's not like he queued it up behind his attack upgrade. He just has no idea that he didn't start his +1 armor. And this will end up hurting him later on, mostly because the Zergling's just going to do extra tons of damage more than they should, especially if MMA tries to do kind of drop play. The medevac healing isn't going to be quite enough without that +1. Spire is on the way for Czech. Has the Baneling Nest. No Baneling speed just yet. But the creep spread looks relatively decent. It's honestly not the most impressive creep spread ever, but he's just spreading it towards the 4th base. Wants to keep these bases. +1 armor finally starting for MMA as the armory completes. So he's basically going to be behind a whole upgrade as +2 melee has begun for Czech. And MMA, he's getting ready to step out on the map. Bunker is set up at the 3rd base. He can keep this safe. And he's trying to press onto the creep. There's the scan, trying to pick off the creep tumors. The Zerglings and Banelings are moving in. Baneling speed's not done just yet. MMA can retreat since there's no Mutalisks on the field. The Widowmines don't get off the craziest shots, and he will be forced to lift up. Now he's moving in towards the main base. Spore Crawler gets a couple pot shots off on that medevac. And he's just going to drop right on top of these Zerglings, but the Zerglings do pretty good, especially considering that they've got that +1, but MMA has managed to get enough units in here to defend against this. No Baneling speed does make moving these around to defend a little bit difficult, and he's still just blasting away at these Zerglings, still keeping these units alive. This is what MMA does. He loves this drop play. It's kind of almost a defining characteristic of MMA, and he has another force ready. Double medevac drop being sent out probably towards that 3rd. It is moving towards the right side. Mutalisk production has begun, so the reign of these medevacs just dropping around all over the place should be over soon. A couple of Banelings do come in. Not going to be able to do too much, though. Sends one medevac home, and he's going to put another one on top of this 3rd. Oh, does get picked off with 2 Marines inside, but the Marines are just going to stem up from the top, moving out with another force, and MMA clearing up the creep tumors. Pretty nice. +2/2 is still coming in. He's +1 armor not done yet, or the +2, but Widowmine gets a shot off. Nothing big. A couple shots here. Clean that up, but MMA, he's actually done a nice bit of damage, I feel, so far. Looking like he might get supply blocked in a little bit, though. Might have to use a drop down here. His production is off the charts. The 12 Marines at a time, double medevac does break off one of those medevacs. But with Baneling speed being complete, that creep becomes more important than ever for Czech for actually catching these Marines. And how is this? There's still a Banshee alive? Okay. All right, I'll take it. He still has one of those, that second Banshee he made alive, kind of cruising around the map. 2 Marines will try to hit the right side. Might be able to pull the Zerglings to the side. How many Widow Mines are there with this army? Looks like 5 of them. So these Widow Mines need to be heroes. He does have the Drilling Claws upgrade. He's moving in. +2 attack is about to complete for MMA, but it's also about to complete for Czech. Widow Mines get a couple nice shots off on the Banelings, but nothing huge just yet. He's still going to need a little bit more. And now Czech is just going to move in on top of absolutely everything. There's not that many Widow Mine shots. Almost all of the Banelings are gone, but there's not enough Terran here. MMA is going to move the rest of his units in, trying to reinforce this position. Widow Mines don't actually hit the Baneling. Helped to soften up the Zergling count, but it's not enough. Czech sitting pretty with a nice little bit of a supply lead. This Banshee is going to town. It's going to town, I guess. I don't know. This Queen got transfused, so it's not dying very quickly. The Marines are still pressing the 4th base. There's no saturation at this 4th, which is important to note. That Czech doesn't necessarily have the economy that he might want versus a 3-base Terran player. So MMA still has that nice production edge. He's continues to pump out three mines at a time. +2 Carapace has finished. +2 armor's on the way. +3 weapons is on the way for MMA. This Banshee did kill a Queen, I think. Does manage to get picked off, though. Another medevac gets sniped, and he needs to be careful about these Banelings. MMA, he's got to be so careful with the way he approaches these attacks. Pure Marine is good, but Pure Marine is only good if your splits are good. And that's where the Widow Mines really come in to help out. But MMA sends a medevac towards the right side. Could see a bit of a drop. And I'm wondering who makes the next step in the involvement of this. A lot of missile turrets are actually being added for MMA versus the potential for Mutalisk harass. The Mutalisk count is actually climbing quite high. That's when it really starts to become annoying. You can just start to go pick off bases, basically, once you get enough to overpower the missile turrets. MMA's coming in, starting to pick off some creep tumors. The Banelings do move in. No big Baneling detonations, though. Is pretty nice for the Acer Terran player. Czech is trying to get into position, though. This is a bit tense. He does have these Widow Mines kind of scabbing the map, but not much doing there. With the Overseer, he's able to pick them off before they can actually even get their shots off. And there are just there's a ton of Banelings on the map right now for Czech. He has so many. The Widow Mines are they're more and more valuable as time goes by. And as these Widow Mine counts have been reduced, there's only 2 here with this army. There's a 3rd one coming up, but oh, here comes the backstab into the 3rd base. There's only this bunker. Some Marines are here as well. The missile turret trying to help with the Widow Mines getting these shots off. None whatsoever, and MMA is being forced back a little bit. These Banelings, though, are all going to detonate on the Marines, so won't be able to kill all the SCVs. The command center is taking a beating, though, at the same time. Thor production has begun, but now Czech says, well, I've got a shit ton of Mutalisks. I'm going to break into your natural expansion, go to work on these Marines. They're getting sniped off left and right. SCVs being grabbed in the natural as well. MMA's taking some huge losses. These Mutalisks are so difficult to deal with. The Banelings chasing on the bio outside as well, cleaning up another huge force of MMA. He's down 150 supply to 200. Czech's been maxed out. He's feeling nice and comfortable. He just needs to be careful because these Mutalisks are quite weak, but it doesn't look like MMA is going to be able to grab any more of these. He will get away. Doesn't want to take a straight up fight versus these. He's got to be happy that he's maxed out. The Hive is on the way, so we will see him eventually make that switch into Ultralisks as well. And let's see, just tons of Zerglings coming in. +2 vehicle armor is coming in, which is nice. It helps the medevacs. It helps out the Widow Mines as well. But is it going to be enough? Is the big question. I'm just not sure. The 5th base is coming in for Czech at the same time. He's got his 4 bases mining quite nicely. Yeah, no other tech going on. He's just going for the Hive so that he can get his Ultralisk and his additional upgrades. The bio is going to engage. There's a single Thor here. The Marines not crazily spread. Of course, that Thor can do wonders if he can get a couple of big shots off on a clumped pack of Mutalisks, or even if he can just tank the Banelings. MMA's army is still very powerful. There's an absurd amount of Marines. How many Marines? 80 Marines are now on the map. Compared to 23 Mutalisks and 26 Banelings. So it all comes down to the positioning of these fights, the micro, the splitting. If MMA can split his units properly and get a good trade versus these Banelings, that can make a big difference. But MMA's 4th base is going to be in danger. There's a pack of mutas heading over here. I think MMA, did he spot it with the tower? He's moving his army down. He might actually catch these mutas in midair, which would be so nice. The Widowmines take a bit of a shot. And he does need to be careful. MMA's drop hits the top right side. Widowmine gets a great hit off on those Zerglings, really opening up some doors here. MMA's +3 attack also helping him to chew through these Zerglings. That upgrade disadvantage that he had earlier is obviously gone due to that, how long it took to get the hive out. But Ultralisk Cavern is starting up. The mutas might try to grab this medevac in the north side, but MMA is also going to press the front. The additional creep spread for Czech, pretty damn good. He's keeping MMA at bay, but here's a drop at the 4th base now, forcing these drones to get pulled away. He's missing out on mining time. There's still the medevac towards the north. He's got the bio pressing forward. Tons of creep tumors are being picked off. Mutalisk's trying to get that medevac. They miss it. It's a bit of a whiff. There's a bunch of drones not mining in the main base as well. And MMA is just everywhere right now. He's really stressing Czech out. And with this huge marine count, all MMA needs to do, maintain good spreads and just get decent trades, because he's forced out so much from Czech. And while there are maybe an absurd number of Banelings, if the Marines are spread enough, only needs a couple of good Widowmine shots to effectively destroy the army. And you can destroy it quite quickly. I'm just kind of wondering where the rest of the supply is going. I don't think he's invested any more into Thors. Yeah, it's just the one Thor. He's actually moved it back home for defense against Mutalisks. These Marines are trying to get a couple of shots off, but there's so much here for Czech. Taking out the sensor towers, picking off Marines. I don't think he cares about there being Marines here. He could actually probably just destroy almost all of this before the Marines get here. And now that they are here, he'll be forced back. But the top right base does have to cancel it. 5 spine crawlers. He's trying to keep his base alive. He's moving a drone towards the right side as well. Maybe Czech's doing everything he can to get more economy. These Marines are not real. They're changelings. They're not really Marines. But the real ones do come up here and try to save this base, but not before it takes an absurd amount of damage. Most of the SCVs of this base were picked off, but that top right base is gone. MMA is starting an expansion in the bottom right side. This Thor is here with 2 turrets and 2 Widow Mines. This could be a death trap for MMA. I mean, for Czech, if he walks into this, the changelings do get taken out. Now, there's no AoE here. It's just Banelings versus Marines. MMA needs to have the best split of his entire life. He's just crashing through. Czech has so much, and this spread looks like it might actually be enough. He's going to pick out the majority of these Banelings. Are there still enough Marines left to kill the Mutacloud? That's all that remains to be answered as this command center gets destroyed, and it looks like yes, but now 10 Ultralisks on the production tab. Czech has his ace in the hole. How many Marauders are on the map? Just 6. 15 Marines being produced at a time. Is it going to be enough versus 10 Ultralisks? There's not any Banelings on the map or Zerglings. So Czech's actually maxed out on Mutalisk Ultra, which is very weird. This is not your standard army composition. I almost feel like it might hurt to not have any mutas and not have any Banelings mixed in with this, but that's what the Pathogen Gland is going to go towards. Maybe try to get some Infestors up. MMA still pressuring. He's got this Thor to kind of cover. The Ultralisks are now out on the map. They do have the full upgrades available to them. The Transfuse is being used to keep the Ultralisks alive, and MMA, he still needs to be very careful, but he does have that bottom right base now, finally mining. The Ultralisk getting some good hits off on the Marines. The Thor trying to keep this Mutalisk caught at bay. He's actually really softened the Mutas, using the medevac to pull the Thors back, but the Ultralisks are just destroying this Bioforce right now. The Mutalisks catching the medevacs on the retreat. Widowmine's get a couple of hits off, but that's not going to do anything to these Ultras. MMA does not have enough Marauders. Now he's starting to put them out 4 at a time, but he needs a lot more time than this to actually get the force together necessary to defeat this army. The problem is there's still a ton of Mutalisks on the map. If he loses these Marines, that could be curtains as well. Forced to lift up a couple of these command centers. The Ultralisks are twerking it under these command centers. He still has the medevacs coming out the Marauders. These Zerglings will finally spot this planetary in the bottom right side. I think Czech's realizing, okay, I need to do something, and that something is Banelings. Baneling Ultra Mutalisk. A true nightmare for any Terran player. Czech just has a super powered force. He's actually just going to split off 3 Ultras to that planetary fortress. And if that shuts down the PF, then MMA is pretty much toast. He has economy for now. He has the economy that he needs. If he loses this command center, he's going to get starved out eventually. The Ultralisks coming in, trying to bait out all of the Widowmine shots. The planetary fortress is taking some serious damage. MMA is not even going to try to repair it. As this base does fall, the Ultralisk press in. The Banelings get some great hits off on this. The Queens are still here, and it's immediately in remax on 7 Ultralisk. So MMA, he doesn't have any type of bank, but Czech, spending his bank quite nicely, is just getting into a better and better position as this game goes on. And these 3 Ultras are going to make their way to the next planetary fortress. I feel like if MMA actually repaired that last one, he might have been able to hold on to it, but this Widowmine takes another shot. Nothing serious yet. Double medevac drop is loaded up. He's just loading up medevacs everywhere, trying to do harass, trying to hit all these bases, but there's so many spine crawlers here for Czech to protect his expansions. And MMA, now he's trying to repair. It's a little bit too late. Command Center gets picked off. That's it. No more economy for the Acer Terran. He's got 49 minerals. That's it. He's pretty much broke. He's going to need to start taking out some loans here as he starts to chew away at the drones. There's still that top right base. And Czech's Ultralisks are here. MMA is going to be shoved back. The Infestors here as well. He can fungal growth these medevacs if he wants to hold them in place. The Marines get a couple of nice hits off on these Mutalisks. But Czech doesn't really need to bring these out to engage anymore. Here comes the Bioforce. He's going to try to run through these spine crawlers. Will it be enough? That's the question. MMA is coming in. One spine crawler looks like he should be able to bring it down. He does have a medevac here with this force, so I think he can actually take out this base if the rest of the reinforcements don't come in. And there they are. The Widowmine being used to actually kill off the Marines. The Ultras clean everything else up, and that's it. Just 2 medevacs worth of units for MMA. Dancing around trying to deal the rest of the damage, but there's the fungal growth. Everything's locked in to die, and Mutalisks cleave through what's left of the forces. MMA is trapped under 100 supply. He's bringing his forces out once again to try to go for some semblance of a push, but making it work is going to be a nightmare in and of itself. As he does continue to press forward here, the Ultralisks are moving down the field. Banelings being morphed in, 9 of them. This is it. MMA has to make a miracle happen. He's getting into the fight. Now the Ultralisk SGPs pick off one of them. Good. So the next 2 Ultralisks, and MMA, he's fighting for it. He's trying to stay his best into this game. His army supply is deceivingly high due to how low his worker count is. But the Ultras get on top of the Marauders, and they die very quickly as the rest of the Zerglings stream through with these Banelings. Oh, is Czech going to be able to break MMA here? That's the big question. He's barely putting out just enough bio to somehow not die. I don't understand how he's not dead yet, but the Banelings are going to get all over these SCVs. The economy for MMA is gone as the Mutalisks clean up the rest of the Bioforces by what was once, I guess, a mining natural. Now it's just empty. GG. MMA taps out, and Czech takes game number 1 in this best of 3 here at the Dailymotion Cup.